And right now, it just feels like Japan is the only place where the pro scene is really thriving. Everywhere else is, I feel like it's getting worse. Like, obviously, the esports bubble burst, right? Like, I mean, you were there front and center.
Yeah, I was there. That shit was crazy.
2016 to 2019, where venture capitalist funds are going crazy and they're just throwing money left and right. Dude. And I mean, I think most people knew that wasn't going to last. I don't know how you felt about that, because you were on Echo Fox, you were on Team Liquid at that time. Ghost. Like, the salaries back then were pretty good. If you're at the top, like, did that seem like something?
So, like, I didn't know. I didn't. Yeah, it's hard for me to just not be tunnel vision, because when you're young and you're broke, and then all this money is being talked about in negotiations, like, yo, this shit might be infinite, So, or like it might be forever. But yeah, I should have known it was gonna be a bubble, because that shit is not sustainable, bro. Like, what are the players selling to justify a player of Street Fighter getting like 10K a month? Like, you can't make that return.
No, there's no way to make that return.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering what they were trying to achieve with that, because like it made no sense. And so like I was always parallel to this, and I'm seeing it, and I'm like, dude, there's no way, like there's no way this lasts. And I feel like 2017 was when you saw the bubble start to burst. Like 2017 to me was the peak, and then from there on out, you could tell like things were slowly starting to taper off in the FGC as well. Because back then, so many players were getting sponsored relative to now, right? Like even these days,
for sure.
In the American scene, who's a full-time pro, right? There's like you, there's Punk. Who else is sponsored in
Nephew.
US of A? Nephew. Yeah, Nephew broke through. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Like on a more closer to tier 1 sort of esports team, right? Like.
Yeah, dude, I remember when I was with Ghost, when they were trying to sign me, they picked me up in a Rolls Royce Ghost, like a nice ass car. It was like a $300,000 car. And then they took me to the mansion, right? And I was like, yo, how much does this mansion cost? He was like, it's $30,000 a month. And they were like, yeah, it's Justin Bieber's old mansion. And I think it was at that moment I was like, okay, this is probably not sustainable. This is in the later half of the bubble. It's like 2018, 2019. I was like, yeah, I don't think this is gonna last. And it did. It lasted a year, and I was gone. They didn't even fucking no goodbye tweet, nothing. They just, my contract ended. I'm done. Like they didn't say bye or nothing. I'm like, damn, bro.
Well, I'm glad you at least recognize it. So for that team, that was post Team Liquid, right? And that's in between Echo Fox. Yeah. So for that team, was that just more like you recognize like, oh, this is funny money, just let me get my cash, and then when it goes down, get out? Or were you trying to build with them?
Yeah. I wasn't just trying to be with them for a short term, but the money was just so absurd that I was like, yo, it's hard to say no to this, because it was just so much money. Like, like they were just casually talking about like 12K contracts a month, and like to me, like how do you say no to that? How do you say no to something like that? But yeah, now you learn that a lot of people just blow smoke, like it just comes to age. People just
especially if they're flexing. Like if someone tries to pick me up in a fancy car, it's just like, dude. I know that's such a common theme you hear about. It's like it was almost like predatory. Like these teams backed by venture capitalists, they would try to buy a bunch of fancy cars and rent out these big old mansions and try to like woo these kids who don't know any better, and then have them uproot their lives to either do like esports or like content creation, whatever, on some kind of dream that was never going to take off. And it was so common at that time.